Okay, guys, if there's anything I've learned during this quarantine, it's that some days you have good days and some days you have bad days. My bad days come when Herc makes me read the YouTube comments. Thank you very much.
Well, it looks like you're having a bad hair day today.
That's actually a good one. That's actually a good day, Craig.
You've got a bit of a boof on at the front there. I can see a few grey hairs coming in. That's the anger.
You know,
Yes.
I can't see your gray hairs, but I do sense your jealousy.
Well, I always said to the boys in the studio, if it's good enough for George Clooney, it's good enough for me.
Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Wow, we have gone way off track. All right, let's get down to it. One person who has been feeling very good of late is Chicharito Hernandez. He's been puffing his chest out with some interesting comments. I'm going to read one of them to you here. It's from an Instagram Live he did with our ESPN colleague Sergio Dipp. It was last week on the 5-year anniversary of Chicharito's last-minute goal against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Quote, "It was like a graduation. I was one of the best players in the world, even if it lasted only one game. That's also why at Manchester United, I scored goals. I was one of the best players in the world, even if it only lasted 10 seconds. I don't care. I'm not here for quantity. I'm here for quality." That translated from Spanish. Okay, Herc. He's called himself like a Mexican legend of late. Now he's coming out again, puffing his chest out some more. What do you make of what Chicharito's saying? What's behind this?
I think Chicharito's fed up with people like you, Seb. I think he's fed up with the criticism. I think he's fed up with people thinking he's not good enough to be at the level he's at. And Craig can attest to this. All of us as footballers, at some point in time, we're going to take criticism. And all you can focus is on your game, on your play. And what he's saying is, even if for that brief second where he's a good footballer because he puts the ball in the back of the net, that is good enough for him. And this is a player who's played at Man United, who in the last decade is the third leading goal scorer for a team like Manchester United, played at Real Madrid, the leading goal scorer for the Mexican national team. And it doesn't matter what he does. It's not good enough. People will still chop him down, will still criticize him, will still say he's a tronco, which means that he's not good with the ball, that he's got stone feet. He's telling you, even if for that second, I'm one of the best in the world because I'm at the top of the game doing what I need to do. He's sending a message to people like you.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, Craig, give us some realistic perspective here. Chicharito Hernandez, one of the world's best, even if it was just for 10 seconds?
Well, we all could be the best for 10 seconds, I think, at one point. But I don't know why he's puffing his chest out at the moment. Maybe because there's no soccer going on, because he put himself behind the 8 ball with his comments before Major League Soccer started with the retirement scenario, which I think, Herc, you went down and spoke to him about that, where he was giving interviews galore and trying to sort of, dig his way out of it. And it certainly put, what it did do, and I'm going off piste a little bit here, it put him under pressure. It put him under more pressure to deliver once he'd made those comments. But there's no denying that he's more than good enough still to play at the level that he's playing at. And he had a very good career. There's no doubt about it. But I personally thought he was going to have a better career. And I know he's been at some great clubs. But the early signs at Man United were so promising that it almost became a little bit of a disappointment when he went to some of these other big clubs like Real Madrid and clubs like that. But he was coming off the bench, which is no slight because there's some great players there. But I do think at one point it looked like on a regular basis he was going to be able to do it, consistently over 40, 50 games a season. But for some reason, it just didn't quite happen for him because as a younger player at Man United, he was bubbly, effervescent, great finisher. I remember the header at Stoke, the backward header where he adapted so well. And I thought, wow, this player could be leading the line for Man United for quite a while. But for whatever reason, it just sort of petered out a little bit for him.
Herc, what do you think of what Craig's saying?
Well, I think if you look at his career trajectory, he's had a handful of seasons where it stands out, where there's good moments. But it's very up and down. And I think his best season at Manchester United was that 2010-2011 season, his first season, where he scored 20 goals across all competitions. He wasn't really a starter, but he'd come up big time in big time moments. And Craig mentioned that backwards header goal against Stoke. There was also the I think it was a Community Shield game where he tries finishing and it hits the turf and then off of his face and into the goal. It almost seemed like he was destined for greatness. No matter what he did, he could do no wrong. But that's Chicharito when things go well. the Chicharito that also was around in Mexico was this player for as young as he was and the great moments that he had, it always come back down to reality, couldn't really win a starting spot. So it's a very good career, but it's not a world-class career. It's not a career like Van Persie, who was at United at that time. It's not a career like Falcao pre-injury. He's never been one of these players that's been the go-to man anywhere besides probably the Mexican national team.
All right, I tell you what, sorry, just bring up, if you put a headline above that, is Chicharito one of the best players in the world? You want to see your comments. You make sure your name's attributed to it, Seb Salazar, and not no. Hertz, because you want to see the comments down the bottom. Listen, just briefly, that was a good point Hertz made there, because for as many good things you have seen Chicharito do in his career, there's so many other things, probably as many, if not more, in games where you think, is that the same guy? Right. Falling over the ball, bad touches, bad passes, just the basics. There was times where Chicharito would do something in the game that made him stood out in a positive way, and there was other times in a game, and it could have been within the same game, where he'd do something you think, how the heck is this guy playing at this level? So that's the kind of player he was. Even within a 90-minute period of a game, it was brilliant 1 minute and pretty much average at best the next.
I will tell you this, Seb, and I don't know if Craig agrees with me. If I were to put what Chicharito does best, what Javier Hernandez does best across the board, the one thing that would stand out that I would say it was world-class, second to none at his highest peak, was his movement. The way he would move off the ball was world-class. That and the sixth sense he had for goal, he was a goal scorer, were the only things he really had going for himself. And I think he's at the point of his career when he's like, why am I taking so much criticism from you, the pundits, from you guys back home? When I played on Manchester United, I played on Real Madrid, I played for Bayern Leverkusen, I'm the leading goal scorer of the Mexican national team. He's like, yeah, I should be a legend to you. He's not saying he's a world legend. He's saying he's a Mexican legend.
Craig, you got to choose one or the other. Overrated or underrated? Which better describes Chicharito?
Overrated. I think.
Ooh, that hurts, Craig.
Yeah, I think in the end, but only because I thought there was more in there. When I saw the early signs, I really thought there would have been more. That's never to take away from an excellent career. You can still have a good career. But when I saw a younger Chicharito, I personally thought there was going to be more to his career. It's been good, but I thought it could have been better.
Herc, what do you think?
I think rated as he should be, and he'd be hard pressed. Let me speak. You're going with Chicharito today. Chicharito, in his moment, had Premier League for Manchester United. He had Champions League for Real Madrid. He had three different World Cups where he scored a goal in. Everything he's done with the Mexican national team. I don't know how you can say that he's not rated accordingly. But people will focus on him today and say he's overrated. That's one thing. But in his moment, he's proven that he belongs on those teams and amongst the world's elite.
Why is Chicharito even bothered? I don't understand.
That's the question right there. That's the question, Craig.
I don't get it. Don't let it irk you. Don't be smarting from criticism. You've played at great clubs. You've had a good career. You've played for the national team. You've played at World Cups. You're now in Los Angeles, sat by your pool of your villa.
Making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money. Somebody's bringing you the pina coladas, the red wine, the beers, the foods. And somebody said, X, Y, and Z's criticising you. I'd be like, what do I care? What do you care?
There you have it, guys. We'll probably leave it there with Craig Burley telling someone else not to complain.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.